I think one thing is clear, and that's that ophthalmology is precision medicine. And for precision medicine, we need precision data. In this talk, I will convince you how the MS39 can deliver reliable data that you need to achieve the best results. And we will present the Lasso model. We already talked about how to select patients which are not ideal candidates for corneal refractive surgery. So what ICL sizes do we choose for those patients in whom we decide to implant an ICL? We call this the Lasso model, and it's a combined effort where we combined the expertise of the world's best surgeons, Erik Mertens, the best data analysts, José Ignacio Orlando and Leandro Rocamoro from Argentina, and then myself, I'm just the person in between connecting those. So one thing is clear, and that's that refractive surgery is a very precise field, and it's no place for cowboys. It's no place for cowboys. However, we do share one common goal with cowboys, and that's our goal for accuracy and precision. What's accuracy and precision? I'll show you with the following demonstration, a shooting competition in the Wild West, where we have 4 cowboys competing. The first cowboy shoots all over the target, and is therefore neither accurate nor precise. The second cowboy, on average, hits the target of the center of the target, but the shots are spread very wide apart, so he may be accurate, but is not precise. The third cowboy shoots very close to one another, but he's off the center, so he's precise, but not accurate. And then the fourth cowboy, the sheriff, is he who combines both accuracy and precision and hits the center of the target. And that's what we, as refractive surgeons, want to achieve. Accurate, precise results, and therefore we need accurate, precise measurements. We'll show you how the MS39 can help you to achieve those results also with ICL surgery. This accuracy and precision is important both for refractive outcome, of course, but also, maybe even more important so, for safety. And when we talk about safety in ICL surgery, one of the most important features is the vaulting. Vaulting the space between the posterior surface of the ICL and the anterior lens capsule. If the vault is too low, that can lead to cataract formation, although with the aquaport that's becoming less and less of a problem. If the vault is too high, that can occlude the anterior chamber angle, and that can lead to pressure-related problems. So we want to achieve an ideal vault of around 500 micrometers. And the way how we influence the post-operative vault is by choosing the correct ICL size. The STAR ICLs come in 4 different sizes, and when we increase the diameter of the ICL, the vault gets pushed forwards. So basically, the question comes down to how can we predict which of these 4 ICL sizes we have to implant in a patient to achieve this ideal vault of 500 micrometers. For this, we took a look at a subset of Erik's retrospective data set. We took 76 patients, Caucasian patients, mainly from Belgium, with an age ranging from 18 to 52 years old. The spherical equivalent of these patients is between minus 17.4 and plus 3.75, with an average spherical equivalent of minus 5.3. And all patients, those 67 patients, had bilateral ICL surgery. When we look at the post-operative vault, it should come as no surprise that Erik had excellent results, with an average volt of 482.5, which is very close to this ideal 500 micrometers. You see that there is some spread ranging from 46 to 1276 micrometers. And the way how Erik achieved these good results is by choosing the correct ICL size. Here we see the distribution of the implanted ICL size. And as you can see, this differs from what was recommended by the STAR algorithm. The STAR algorithm on the OCOS website takes a number of parameters. From what I've tried, there are two that are important, and that's wide to wide and anterior chamber depth. And with those two parameters, you can calculate the suggested ICL size with the OCOS formula. But Erik not always followed this recommended ICL size because he used his data from the MS39, from anterior segment OCT, and used the NK1 and NK2 formula. I won't talk too long about these formulas, but Erik gave a very good presentation on this formula, and I'll show a QR code. If you scan this code, it links to a YouTube video of a presentation that Erik gave in 2019 at the ESCRS meeting. Yeah. Okay, great. So with this data, we already achieved very good results, but the question is, can we do even better? Because you see there is still some spread. Can we make this curve even a bit tighter? That was the goal of this study. So we took these 76 patients and we divided them at the patient level, and that's important, at the patient level, so there's no contamination of training set and test are biased because one eye is used in training and one eye is used in the test set. 80% test set, training set, 20% test set, and then we extracted all the information. And at the time it was very tedious work because we did it manually, but by now we have written scripts that do it automatically, extract the data from the PDFs. With the new possibility to export XML files, that's even easier. We combined that into a very large data set, over 250 parameters per eye, and then we analyzed the data with Python, which got us some very interesting correlation graphs. This shows a heat map of a subset of the parameters, where the first column is the ideal ICL. That's knowing the post-operative volt, what would have been the ideal ICL to implant, even though that particular ICL is not produced. You see that this ideal ICL shows a strong correlation with the diameter of the ICL that was actually implanted. So that shows that the formula used was very good, 0.82. We also see strong correlations with parameters such as the wide to wide, the scleral spur to scleral spur, which is used in the Nakamura formula. And we see several correlations, but what you see is that many of these correlations are also interlinked, cross-correlated. And that's where classical statistics fail to extract all the information embedded in this information. Therefore, we chose not to use a traditional stepwise regression model, but used more advanced techniques, and that's the lasso regression analysis. I don't think it's important that we all understand the mathematical principles behind the lasso model, but the idea is that if a parameter wants to be in the model, it has to give some additional value, but it also pays a price. So if a parameter only adds very little information, it does not get included. And therefore, most of the parameters in the lasso model get a coefficient of 0 because they don't add enough compared to the value that the improvement they make. And only the parameters that are very important remain in the model. We made 3 different models, one with all the features, that's the patient data. the MS39 data and also biometry data such as axial length, a subset only using the MS39 and a subset using only biometry data. We trained this model on this set of 80% of the patients, and then we tested it on the separate data set of 20% of the patient. And here are the results. This is a Blunt-Altman plot where we show the difference of the expected volt versus the actually measured postoperative volt. And as you can see, on average, we are very close to the expected, the measured volt is very close to the expected volt with only 2.61 micrometers difference. But even more important so is that the spread is very narrow. If we compare this to the Nakamura 2 formula, you see that on average it performs as well, not significantly better, but the spread of the Nakamura is much broader, and that's what we want. We want to reduce the spread. I can show the results in a different graph, where on the x-axis we have the predicted volt, on the y-axis the actually measured volt. You see that this shows a very clear correlation with an R-squared of 0.68, which is really good. This box whisker plot shows all the models combined, where on the right, here in green, you see the recommendation from the STAR website, the OCOS website. These are the Nakamura 1 and 2 formulas using MS39 data, and then these are our new models, where you see that the variation, on average they are all good, but the variation is much, much lower with the new model using the MS39 data. In clinical practice, if you look at these test patients and how many % was our prediction less than or equal to 100 micrometers of the actually measured volt, that's for our model in 68%. In 92%, we're less than 200 micrometers of the expected volt, and in 100% of cases, we are within 300 micrometers of the expected volt. So I hope I was able to convince you that using this MS39 data and our model, we are able to achieve precise and accurate results. And that's where we want to get involved with you guys. If you are using an MS39, if you are interested in achieving even better results with ICL sizing, then we would like to join our efforts and combine the data, because it's only with larger data sets that we can achieve better results. If you register at this web form, we get in contact with you, and then we will find ways to automatically extract your data. We will do it in a GDPR-proof way, analyze and anonymize the data at your site, but pool all the data to make an even better formula. Thank you.